I think it's figuring out your second line scoring. Your first line is playing all north of, what is it, Slafkovsky, just under 20 minutes. Your top two guys are playing north of 23, 24 minutes as forwards, but you're not getting production from any of the other lines. And a lot of teams run out of goals in a playoff series. So you got to figure out a way to rejig your other three lines so you can create some scoring opportunities throughout your roster.
There's the coach of John Goins, who joined us earlier today during Hockey Heaven at 11, talking about adjustments he'd make going into game number 2 tomorrow. It's Habs Lunch, Campbell versus Gallo, and we're discussing our hot topic. Is it Xhekaj time? And Campbell, I've thought about this all day, and for me, the answer is no. I really don't understand.
No.
I shouldn't say I don't understand. I kind of get it, but it fascinates me that there's this, obsession with Arber Xhekaj among Montreal Canadiens fans. I'll keep it very simple here with my opinion on this one. I'm trying to win a series against the Washington Capitals. Does Arber Xhekaj make me better offensively? I think the answer is no. And does Arber Xhekaj make me better defensively? I think the answer is no. So if he's not making me better offensively or defensively, I'm keeping him out of the lineup.
See, I think I'm there's two things here. And I know that yours is a harsh no. I'm open to it, but there's a couple things that happen. One, you watch that first period, and I could be on social media, and I already knew that I was watching it myself. I wasn't on social media, but then, after I could go back and look, everything's like, this is why we need Xhekaj in the lineup. The Xhekaj needs to be here. Gouli just got bowled over. They're going after Hudson. Xhekaj needs to be. First question, how many minutes would have you played in that first period? Mm-hmm. 2, did the Canadiens adjust to that physicality as the game went along?
Yes.
I thought they did. And if they didn't, if it was 60 minutes of what we saw in the first period, Mitch, I'd be X going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Okay? Got to wait for it. But the Canadiens adjusted as the game went along. And that included their defensemen. And with a forecheck like that, Arber Xhekaj is one of the defensemen that's more prone to the turnovers when being forced into a decision. So there's that aspect of it that you have to think about it. But on the other side of that, I hate when you need to make an adjustment and then you make that adjustment way too late.
Right.
Because if this continues and you get next game 2 periods like the first period or 2.5 and the Canadiens get beat up again physically, and then you're like, okay, but we're coming home. I'm not going to do it just yet. And then in game 4, they're down 2-1 or 3-0 in the series. They're like, okay, Arber, let's go. That's so tough. If they're going to do it, I'd rather they do it right now. And you and I were in Brossard the other day. I was watching him on the ice. He was working on everything. He stayed like an hour after us. That's because he knows where he is. He knows he needs to improve. He has to prove it to the coaches that he wants to get in the lineup. And you and I know if Arber Xhekaj gets in the lineup, he's going to be ready to go. However, you asked those 2 questions earlier. Does he make them better offensively? Does he make them better defensively? And those are questions that I'm sure the coaching staff ask themselves every single time.
And
so, one, I don't want them to wait too long to do it. Mm-hmm. I told you from the start of the series, I expect him in the series at some point. But the fact that the Canadiens adjusted as the game went along, I might be inclined on the no right now. But I think I'm closer to a yes than you are. But I like the way that the Canadiens finished the game. I'm keeping an eye on the minutes played, because the minutes played tells me how much does the coaching staff, Marty St. Louis, Roby does he trust Savard?
Yep. Does
he trust Struble? If game 2 goes and Savard goes from 12 to 9, Struble goes from 14 to 11, I'll probably sit here and say, Xhekaj can give you 12 minutes. That's how I would feel about it.
But a couple things. Number one, as far as the way that game was perceived to have gone in the first period, which you said they adjusted to. If
I felt they did.
if Xhekaj's in the lineup, does Washington's approach change whatsoever?
No.
Okay, so he's not changing anything as far as what Washington is going to do with their forecheck or their targeting of players or trying to hit. So if he's not changing that aspect, what is he providing the Canadiens? If he's not better offensively, he's not better defensively, and he's not going to change the mindset of the Capitals. What are you bringing Xhekaj in for? I don't get it.
Is it going to stop Tom Wilson?
No, it won't. No, it won't. Josh Anderson in the past has beat up Tom Wilson. They fought. Go check it. It's on, go to hockeyfights.com. You can check the fight cards. And Anderson has beaten up Tom Wilson. Does that change Tom Wilson's approach? No. Now, I know a lot of Canadian fans are going to say Xhekaj is better than Savard, and Xhekaj should play over Savard. Okay. So I will ask you this. Are the Canadiens better, and do they have a better chance at beating the Capitals if they ask two of their left-handed shot defensemen to play on the offside, and then they ask Arber Xhekaj to take over David Savard's penalty kill minutes? Does that give the Canadiens a better chance to win? I'd say no.
Yeah, because then your penalty kill unit goes to Matheson, Carrier, and Gouli, because they pretty much go three defensemen now on the penalty kill, and then Gouli would eat up some of those minutes that Savard's gone. I like what I see from Gouli, but Savard knows exactly what his role is. Then your third pairing would be a pairing with one game NHL playoff experience. I get that Savard is not Savard of playoff yesteryear when he was with Tampa Bay, or even, this is not the same player, and he's already announced his retirement. That might be the change, but I'm just going to stay back and say not yet.
And I'll add one thing here. Campbell, I don't believe that management is as enthusiastic about Arber Xhekaj as the fans seem to be. And I think when you look at how many of the fans out there loved Alex Romanov, he kind of falls into the same category. And I think the Canadiens are going to have to make some decisions on the fence, especially with some of their younger players coming through the ranks, through the farm. And I would not be surprised if Arber Xhekaj is moved at some point. I know people aren't going to like it. They don't want to hear it now. They're not going to like when it happens. But I'm just telling you, you can see by the way they deploy him, by the way they play him, by the way they've treated him, that they are not as enthusiastic about it as the fans are. Great. He could punch people in the head. What else can he do? That's all I'd like to know. And if you think you have a better chance to win with 5 left-hand shot defensemen by scratching Savard and bringing Xhekaj in because he's going to bring this so-called element of physicality, you're entitled to that opinion. I really don't agree with it. If I'm the coach, I'm not. And we'll see what Martin St. Louis does, because I honestly have no idea what he does. Game 2 tomorrow, I'm going with the same lineup. That lineup, the Canadiens lineup that they just had out there, is a lineup that they've had for the last month, and it's a lineup that went on the road in Game 1, tied the game with 5 minutes left, had a chance to win with under a minute left, and then lost the game in overtime on a shot by the greatest goal scorer in NHL history. They were right there. I don't think significant changes are needed to a lineup that just came within one shot of beating the Caps last night.